Hi, Istvan. It's Jeff. I just saw your LinkedIn post about the lack of openness of APIs at RWS Group, and I just thought, hey, I'll read it and give some, my opinion on it too. Um, let's see. I'm just kind of going through all this stuff here and seeing the weather's changing and starting to cough again. Um, you mentioned that there are a lot of different agencies or super agencies or large providers, LSPs, what do you want to call these things? I guess now we call them hyperscalers for the other stuff. These are hyper agencies, right? Um, and then we get tons and tons of stuff going through all these systems, right? All these TMSs and CAT systems and whatever, and translation systems, and all this stuff, and speech system. I mean, it's just you're right. There's a lot of stuff, and then it's really important to have a really well documented interface and support, especially if you're integrating things, right? Totally agree with you. The the but the issue of API is not even an issue. That's kind of it just doesn't especially for a long period of time. I mean, if something happens for a little bit, you know, that's okay, but not if it's happening for a long time period of time. But but I thought it was really interesting you were talking about here. Yeah, and it's true. You are kind of this is a B2B industry, right? This is a big B2B industry. So everybody's working with, few people are actually no one in this industry really is really working with end customers. Okay, it's all B2B. I'm gonna be a video on that actually, but the B2B nature of this industry, of the language industry, and and the fact that your whole supply chain is screwed up because APIs aren't working. You can't access them. You can't do anything with it. You don't know when they're going to be around or available. And that's just, I totally agree. That's a problem. Uh, then I thought it was interesting. You said that APIs, are not the solution to everything. And that's, I think you're making some good, bold statements. That's really good. Because it can't do everything. It can't do everything. And it just can't hinder things. In fact, it can lock you to have to do things a certain way because you got to do the API. You got to set up the API to do it in a certain way to do something based on some use case, right? And and then you have all these different use cases. I mean, I deal with it all the time, right? I deal with it. When I want to have something, I would have different use cases for different flavors of the API I want to do something with, right? And so it's you got to have it really, really documented to figure out how to get the thing to work, right? The way you want it to work in the end, kind of whatever you're going to be doing, integrating different systems. But you definitely don't want to stop your business critical systems. I mean, for weeks. Um, that's not way. And I thought it was really interesting. You said that a day of any system down is normal in this industry. Well, not for SAP. Yeah, not for SAP. Um, yeah, the SAP is specifically. I'm just going to make that statement. Now, all of our all of our systems. I mean, you're talking the industry in general. I agree. There are a lot of things that are down, but the one thing that's kind of interesting at SAP I've kind of seen for the past 15 years is this. The selling point is it's down, never down, right? Or it's down, it's up 99.9% of the time, and because of the way the systems are set up and because they're all homogeneous and they all work with the same data, and the data has to be done a certain way, and it's kind of an ecosystem in itself. But you're right that there, but all the third party license stuff, that stuff's down, right? I see that all the time. It can be down for a period of time, and it's whatever. But it can be an issue, and you're right on that. And when it's your business critical stuff down, that's a big problem. And when an integration, there are two ways to do all this whole stuff, right? Is to do it all in one native interface, right? And do everything there, which some people do, and then make it proprietary and all that. Or then you deal with integrations, and then you don't have to do everything in the native when you kind of just make things work together. That's always a big challenge. Um, and then, like you said, sometimes they expose things you don't want, right? So, totally agree. Um, and then the thing of the impossibility of making business profitable. The whole price pressure thing. I mean, I made a video specifically on the dilemma of pricing, right? Because this industry is just, we've got to work on this, right? We got to work on it. And there's a lot of people are doing it. I mean, you can see Nimsy's doing a lot of stuff, Common Sense doing stuff, Jessica's doing a lot of stuff. Robert Martin's doing stuff. I mean, they're doing a lot of sales stuff, how to sell better already. And I think that's really good. And I've been mentioning in a lot of my videos too, just about how we need to improve this industry for solution packages, right? Just got to sell solutions. Got to stop selling words. And I'm not the only one. A lot of people have been saying this, but we've got to you got to do it a certain way. And then so I get this cough that the weather's changing. Just kind of my lungs don't like it when it happens that way. Um, and then I thought it was really interesting. You said that the project management cost per word is lower if you do multilingual projects than if you do one language. It's totally true because you're leveraging across languages. So yeah, you do the project management once. Well, you do it you do it all at the parallel, right? So you're not paying it 25 times for 25 languages. Um, you're covering a certain amount depending on how many languages you're going to do, right? So you're going to leverage that. But this the whole continuous localization, the whole continuous translation, all that is actually another video on that too. Yeah, I talked about the continuous localization in my authoring memory one. Yeah, look up my authoring memory video, and I talked about it there a little bit, not in detail, but enough to deal with that. There are ways to do this. Way to do this in memory-based systems, right? So, how to deal with continuous localization. I mean, this is everyone's struggling. What are you going to call this? Um, Continuous delivery. Yeah, this is the big thing because do you wait until you got everything and then do it, translate it and all that, or do you try to do it as you go? So I talked about that in my author memory one, and then the whole thing of microtransactions and how to deal with it. And some companies are doing you got to group all your payments together, so you pay them once, and you can't deal with microtransactions. Which, hey, we're dealing with microtransactions in COVID, right? Everything went to microtransactions, right? You had to pay everything with a card, right? So you had to whatever you call this, contactless. I don't know what you call this in English. You just use your card, but you just pass. I don't know what the thing is in English. I know it is in French. I don't know how we say it in English. You just pass your card and it pays, right? But it's this. You got some really good. As you were going, I thought, boy, it's a rant of the day. A good rant. You said it's your rant, so I just thought I'd reply to it. But the fact that you can't, again, at the end, it's not that you don't have the API keys, right? It's just you don't know when you're going to get them back, right? And then it stops your business. So what you're providing. So yeah, this is. I don't have the answer, but I just thought I'd give my opinion about it too, and how I see it. And we agree. So it's this industry it's very because the way of single vendor, multi-vendor projects are kind of set up, and sometimes when you start getting multi-vendor, you've got multi-language vendors, and they have multi-vendor projects, right? And that's where it gets. You got to be able, and everybody's got their own systems, right, and their own platforms, and to be able to work on projects, this is what drives customers crazy. It just drives them crazy, right? Because which system we log into today and which language, right? So it's yeah, that's why we have all the data models and stuff, and all the different data transfer, and all the different formats that we're trying to make harmonized and or trying to standardize, and then we deal with this, and you can't use it. So totally what you're getting at, and I totally get your frustration. So hey, someone here just trying to confirm that it needs to be changed, and big companies need to be able to handle this, and they need to be people on it, and need to be able to resolve things and not let things hang for months. So okay, well, you have a good day. It's a good evening here. So all right, take care.